Alright, hello to you lucky group that got to do the power rule for logarithms. This is kind of a nice one because what happens is anytime you have a number multiplied by a logarithm, you can just rewrite it with that same number as an exponent in the argument, or vice versa. It can go the other way as well. So what I'd like you to do is think about that rule for a second and then try each one of these questions on this page. Once you've tried them, then you can resume the video and I'm going to go through the answers with you. So please stop the video now and try the questions. Okay, so you've tried each one of the questions and let's just go through the answers here now. So let's take a look. The first one here, no problem. Here we have, just like we said before, number multiplied by the logarithm. So that actually can be rewritten as logarithm with the same base, which is 10 in this case. Same argument, but now raised to the power 2/3. Okay, so exponent of 2/3, that's the same thing as logarithm of, let's see, cube root of 8 all squared. And I'm going to write this one more time. So I'm going to erase this in a second. Log of, let's see, cube root of 8 is 2. So that's 2 squared. And so finally we have log of 4. So that's the final answer there, written in simplified form. Okay, if you want to copy that down, pause now. I'm going to erase it so I can have more space for the next question. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next one. How about this one in the middle here? So same idea here, but this time we have, let's see, if we rewrite this thing, it's log base 2, 16 to the power 1/3. That's the same thing as the cube root. So the radical with the index of 3 becomes an exponent of 1/3. And so now we have an exponent in the argument. That number can come down and become a coefficient, log base 2 of 16. Here's the rewritten form right there. Actually, we can take that one even a little bit further. I just realized we can go 1/3. Now, log base 2 of 16, actually I'll erase that. Instead of saying log base 2 of 16, you can think in your head for a second, 2 to what exponent gives 16? 2 to what exponent gives 16? If you try a few numbers, 2 to the 1, 2 to the 2, you'll find out that 2 to the 4 is actually 16. So let's rewrite this one more time as log base 2 of 2 to the 4. And we can do this whole thing again, because now, look, we again have an exponent in the argument, which can get multiplied out to the front. Okay, so let's try this again. So I have 1/3 multiplied now by 4, and then multiplied by log base 2 of 2. Okay, now log base 2 of 2, we remember from last lesson, this part right here is going to equal 1, and 1/3 times 4 is 4/3. So the final answer here is just 4/3. Very nice. All right, so if you want to again pause and write that down, I'm going to erase it here. Okay, let's do another one. This one right here is kind of a nice one. The same thing. We've got the 7. It can come down and be written as 7 log base 5 of 5. But again, same as before, we know that log base 5 of 5 is just 1. So this is just 7 times 1, or 7. Correct answer. Very nice. Okay, again, pause if you want to write that down. Okay, next one is this guy. Same thing again. We're just repeating the same thing over and over again here, folks. So let's bring that down. 2 log base 2 of 1/8. So you might want to just stop this one here, but there's actually another step we can take. I wonder if you guys found this when you were working on it. 1/8, another way to write that is actually 2 to the exponent -3, because the negative sign in the exponent makes it a reciprocal, and 2 to the power 3 is 8. So this is the same, so this is equal. So we can write this way then, 2 log base 2 of 2 to the -3. And again, we now have an exponent here in the argument, which can get multiplied down to the front. So let's try that again. So 2 times -3 times log base 2 of 2, which we're now used to saying that's equal to 1. So I'm getting really squished in here, sorry. That's going to be, this part here is just 1. And so we have 2 times -3, -6. Okay. You might be asking yourself, wait a second, I understand how it works, but how did I know to look for this? Honestly, that just comes with experience. You guys got to practice, 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 and pretty soon you start to see things like that. But yeah, for now, just remember it, and maybe you'll see that one come up again. Okay, if you want to write that down, go ahead. I'm going to erase it for now so I've got more space. All right, let's keep going here. Now, what's this next question? Which of the following are true and which are false for logarithms to every base? Every base. Okay, so let's see what they're saying here. In this first one, part A, we see log, the base is not written down, so that means it's base 10. And they're basically saying, is this a true statement? Well, with our power rule that we just learned, here's the exponent in the argument. That could be brought down to become -2, which is exactly what we see here. And so, yeah, that is true for sure. That's just exactly what this power rule says. It's just the same thing. Okay, how about B over here? Is this the same thing? I mean, it doesn't look the same, does it? But I feel like we just did this, log base 8. Well, let's try it out. So this one has no coefficient out front. This one does. So let's take this coefficient and multiply or move it up to an exponent. So we have here the right-hand side is log base 8 of 2/3. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of scratch work up over here. How about 8 to the 2/3? That's the same thing as the cube root of 8, and then that whole thing squared. Yeah, we just did this, didn't we? Cube root of 8 is 2, 2 squared, and so that's 4. So what we have then, this right-hand side is actually equal to, let me write it down, way down here, log base 4. So indeed, the left side and the right side are the same. So both of these things are true. Let's see if we can make that really obvious. True and true. Okay. Well, if you've got all those things figured out, your next step, once you finish this video, is to make sure everyone who just watched the video understands it. And secondly, once that's done, your task is going to be, once you get into your other groups, to now teach this power rule to the other people in your group. So make sure you understand it well so you can explain it to them. If you still have some extra time before it's time to go back to your groups, look at this challenge question here and see if you can figure that one out. Okay, goodbye.